Welcome to the USA Hockey Next Gen podcast, where the future of the game takes center ice. Join us as we spotlight rising stars, innovative programs, and the voices shaping tomorrow's hockey community. From first strides to big dreams, this is where the next generation begins.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of USA Hockey's Next Generation podcast. My name is Lyndsey Fry. I am here with my co-host, Drew Shore, and we are so excited. We are going to be talking to Bill Duffy later today. He is not only the president of Warrior Hockey for the Philadelphia Flyers, but he is also the Warrior representative for USA Hockey. And for those of you that don't know what Warrior Hockey is, you're going to learn all about it, but it is a discipline under the overarching disabled section of USA Hockey. It's for veterans who have 10% or more of a disability. And we are just so excited to have him on, hear about the inspiring stories. And Drew, it's going to be an awesome episode.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Bill. I actually had the pleasure and privilege of playing in one of Bill's events a couple of years ago, and it's one of the coolest things I've done since I retired. And since I had the experience of playing in the event, I've really kind of wanted to learn more about the program and see how I and other guys who played hockey can help, because anything we can do to help people who have served our country is something that I think that everyone should do.
I completely agree. And you talk to some of these people. I mean, we have a Warrior program here in Arizona, and it's just such a special thing. And you and I, we've both played on the national stage. We've worn USA Hockey on the jersey and represented our country in that way. But not to diminish it, but it almost feels like it doesn't compare to what these men and women have gone through, serving our country, putting their lives on the line, and to be able to find that common ground of hockey as this magical space where everybody can come together and just be themselves, have the time of their lives, forget about everything that's happening outside the glass is so cool. And I just think that what a gift that USA Hockey has this available to these individuals. But enough from us. Let's hear it directly from some of the members of Warrior Hockey themselves. We've got a great video to share with everybody.
I think of the camaraderie. I think when you leave the military, you lose that bond, that brotherhood, that sisterhood. You spend so much time when you're in service with your brothers and sisters, more than with your family for some guys and gals. I think being a part of that team, whether it's the Pittsburgh Warriors, or the Philly Warriors, or Colorado, or St. Louis, it gives you that camaraderie to build again, to bring that back in there. You can sit down, you have common goals, you've tread on the same grass, you've been in the same sand. You can talk about things that you probably can't talk about with your friends who may or may not have ever served. They don't understand. I can sit down with a Nick Boyko, who's here, who I haven't seen in 10 years, and we can go right back into like we had never seen it, like it'd been a week, and talk about, the Marine Corps or the Navy or the Coast Guard or whatever. So it's, I think it's that camaraderie, it's that bond. It just comes right back immediately.
The first thing I noticed in the event that I participated in was just the camaraderie and bond from players who were either not only on the same team, but also who have just played against each other over the years since the program was created.
Yeah, and you watched that video, and I think for me, Drew, the coolest thing about it was just the way he talks about these people who get out of service trying to figure out, how do I find that community? How do I find those people that I can talk to that maybe I can't talk about the same things with civilians or some of my other friends or family members, and it just brings them back together. And I think, probably the closest thing that you and I have to compare that to is just when you get out of being a hockey player at a high level, all of a sudden you don't have the locker room, you don't have the routine, you don't have the structure, you don't have the common goal that you're fighting for. And I think that is really a lot of what they're referencing when they talk about what it is that hockey brings to these veterans through this program that allows them to kind of regain that sense of self and that sense of camaraderie, just like you said.
I mean, we can't speak to what they go through in their retirement, but for me personally, in the retirement from hockey, I think one of the biggest challenges is just trying to find a new community, a new purpose, and seeing what USA Hockey and this Warrior program has been able to provide some of these veterans has been awesome to watch.
All right, now we are going to bring on our guest for today. So excited to have him. We are here with Bill Duffy, who is the rep for Warrior Hockey for USA Hockey, and he is also the president of the Philadelphia Flyers Warrior Hockey program. Bill, thank you so much for being with us today.
For having me. I really appreciate it.
What's going on, Bill? How you doing?
Good. A little tired. We had a long week of Warrior Hockey this past weekend in Tampa. I made it back last night. No flights canceled, so everything's good.
Love to hear it.
Bill, I saw you guys had over 600 participants at your event this weekend. How awesome is that?
It really is amazing when you think about where Warrior Hockey started as a program. It was just merely one hockey program in the DC area. And now it's gone all the way across the U.S. as far as Nevada and Las Vegas. So it just continues to grow. There's new programs every week. I get an email asking, how do I start a Warrior program? Columbus just got an email yesterday when I was on the plane from Tennessee. So Nashville area, they want to start a program. Hopefully the NHL will be backing them on that. But yeah, it's grown tremendously just in the amount of time I've been involved, and it just continues to grow and get better for everyone.
Well, let's build on that. So obviously you've got the Flyers logo on your hat there, and they are a huge supporter. I would say probably one of the leaders in the NHL, but just talk about that partnership and how important it's been for Warrior Hockey to have that NHL support.
Yeah, I mean, when this all first started, it was back in late 2018, early 2019. A guy by the name of Rick Stabino made a phone call to the Flyers. He found out about Warrior Hockey. He was a Marine Corps veteran, wanted to do something cool for veterans in this area, and reached out to the guy that I took his position from, Mike Vaccaro, and he said, why don't you call Flyers or the New Jersey Devils? So he said, I really don't like the Devils, so I'll call the Flyers. So that's basically how it started.
There you go.
And Brad Marsh and Rob Baer, who work for the Philadelphia Flyers, Brad being the president of the Flyers alumni, and Rob Baer being the amateur hockey and community relations guy for the Flyers. They took the call. They said, this sounds really cool. Let's build on it. And just went from there. And in 2019, we were having full practices. I think I started like the third practice when they started officially practicing and stuff, and I haven't looked back to ever since. I don't play men's league anymore. This is all I do.
Bill, a couple of years ago, I had the privilege of playing in one of your guys' events in Denver, and it was amazing. But something that really stood out to me talking to some of the guys was just how big of an impact this has had on their lives since they've transitioned out of serving for our country. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the impact that you've seen that this has had on some of your participants in the program?
Sure. You know, when you start a program like this or a discipline for USA Hockey, it's always interesting. There's a lot of impactful stories. One of the things that we're trying to do now is provide more resources for these veterans as they participate in USA Hockey events to make it better for them. We've had guys and girls getting medical or VA claims adjudicated at tournaments, like at Nationals. We had the VA there. We had the Wounded Warrior Project there, service dog companies, stuff of that nature. And what that does for them, because they're not very, like, honestly, if guys and girls don't do the research when they leave the military, and most of them don't, they just get out and they say, all right, what's next? We're providing that now for them to make it a better atmosphere, for the veteran when they participate in our events, in our national events. To include service dogs, we have a service dog company that comes in now called Team Foster. It's a nonprofit. All the dogs are named after veterans who have been killed in the line of duty, and then it's great. One of our guys has one. He just got it recently. He was just at at the Warrior Classic in Tampa. Awesome dog. And there's a couple other programs that people have service dogs already. So it's been very impactful. It's changed a lot of lives. It's given guys and girls a purpose now, participating in Warrior hockey. I mean, just me alone being part of this program, I would have never thought in a million years that when we started it, that I walked in the door. I didn't know anybody in the program. You just show up and you get on the ice, and now it's like a one big family. And that's with all the programs throughout the U.S. You see it. Warrior hockey, they travel very well. Wives, spouses, significant others, kids, they're all at the tournaments. It's loud and it's fun and it's and then you're hanging out with the other team you just played and shooting a crap or whatever and just having a good time and you run into people you didn't even know are playing Warrior hockey that you served with. It's truly amazing. We have a lot of wild stories from players throughout the U.S. of their time in the military, and it's truly helped them get to a better place in their life, and it's life-saving. It really is.
Yeah, Bill, it's interesting that you say that because one thing I did want to bring up is I've heard that before. I'm in Arizona, and we have a Warrior program here, and when they talk about it, life-saving continuously comes up, and just specifically around veterans who were lost or didn't feel like they fit in different areas of civilian life. And now all of a sudden they're in what any hockey player, doesn't matter what discipline you're playing, that locker room experience with your friends, with your family, like you called it. That's truly what it feels like. Can you just speak to that and just what allowing all of these veterans to come together and have that safe space with each other really means to them?
It's funny you say safe space. So when we developed our program and a lot of the other programs in the U.S., just getting on the ice is the safe space for these individuals. They get out there, they forget about everything else that's going on in their lives. They focus on learning the sport of hockey. There's people throughout the U.S. that have never played hockey before, but they just want to be a part of it. So they're trying it for the first time at 30 years old. It's great. So, we have levels all the way from elite all the way down to tier 6, but it truly has become a family-oriented thing on and off the ice. It's not just about hockey. It's about being a part of something with like-minded individuals, and it truly has saved lives. There, and I hate to say it this way, but there's people in programs throughout the U.S., just like in Philly. Guys and girls have nothing. They wouldn't have anything without this program. There's a guy in our program. We love him to death, but if he didn't have us, I don't know what he would have. I mean, it's sad, but it's just the facts of life. And, we kind of look at it in a certain way. And me and Kevin Emore, who's the VP of my business operations here, when an NHL player gets out of the NHL and they retire, what now for them? It's kind of the same thing. So when I talk to other NHL programs and stuff like that, I always bring that up. Like, okay, when somebody retires, now what? If they don't have anything lined up, just like most of these veterans when they get out, and including myself when I got out, I didn't know what I was doing. But it really has changed lives, given them a purpose. We do a lot of community projects along with the other Warrior programs throughout the U.S. They're always involved in the community, which is very important, just like we were when we were in the military. So it's turned into a military type atmosphere in the way that they show up, they work hard, they have their family, they have us, and we're there for them no matter what, on or off the ice. So it's very important. I know the Arizona program very well. I talk to them all the time, and they're a great group of guys.
Bill, I couldn't believe the crowd you guys had at the event that I participated in. I mean, it was an amazing environment.
Yeah, like I said, Warrior hockey travels well. It's very loud, very exciting. Everybody's into it. Just seeing, like our program does and a lot of others, when the other team leaves the ice and they're playing our team, we line up and fist bump them as they're walking into the locker room. We support not only our program, but all Warrior programs. It's really special. Washington Capitals Warriors now have a program, and they were there. And we walked into the locker room after the Elite Championship, and they were in there ready to go and celebrate when we won. We couldn't believe it that they were standing in our locker room all pumped up and excited for us. But that's the kind of thing that you see in Warrior hockey. The camaraderie is totally there. The spouses are talking to each other. Oh, what do you guys do in your program for the spouses? And so we have a spouse group here in Philly. It's very special. We try to do something quarterly for the spouses to get them out and together and talk about us, good, bad, or indifferent. It's okay. I don't care. But the fact that they get out and get to do something, because let's be honest, every Sunday here, we're on the ice and they're at home. We do have daycare though. So if a player wants to bring their kid and give the wife a break, they bring the kid to practice, or kids, and they're babysat so the wife can get a break and just relax on that Sunday.
Bill, your growth and expansion since 2018 has been nothing but remarkable. Lyndsey touched on this a little bit earlier, but can you just double click on how much support you've gotten from the NHL? Because I think seeing the NHL step in and really help you guys and provide some resources has been one of the biggest factors in your growth.
Yeah, I mean, our relationship with the Philadelphia Flyers is a very unique and special opportunity for us. You get to wear that Flyers logo. It's just like wearing the flag on your sleeve when you were in the military. You take pride in it. You wear it respectfully because it is the brand that you're representing. So what we do for the Flyers is we give back in manpower. So all the Flyers charities events or Flyers events, like the giveaways that they have at the games, the caravans that they do in the summer, the Flyers Carnival, gritty 5K, you name it, the alumni events. Brad Marsh does an incredible job with the Flyers alumni, but their golf tournaments, their walk, run, and stroll event, Friday night fights, all that stuff. Our manpower is our greatest resource. We're up to about 150 players in our program now. So first thing they do is call us. Okay, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? All right, how many guys do you need, or girls? We got it. So it's very special. As far as funding, we do not get any funding directly through the Philadelphia Flyers. We are a self-funded organization. It's a big fable tale in Warrior hockey that the Flyers pay for everything. They charter planes and all this stuff. It's just not real. I wish it was. It would make my job a lot easier. It's just not one of those things that is a reality. So, but not only our program, but the St. Louis Blues, Washington Capitals now heavily involved, Carolina Hurricanes, Tampa Bay Lightning. Trying to think who else. Chicago Blackhawks. I'm probably forgetting a team here or there, but it has grown tremendously with the NHL support, and we're very grateful for that. Not just for our program, but all programs, because it is very special that these programs get that support, and it only helps Warrior hockey grow for USA Hockey, and it's great. So we love seeing it. I talk to NHL teams all the time about what Philly does, what other NHL teams are doing, and I pretty much have it most down on what each NHL team provides for the Warrior hockey program in their area. I'm hoping that the Rangers get on board. They were looking at doing it this year, but I think it's going to end up being next year, which would be great because that would be a good one to get going, is the New York Rangers Warrior program. It would be really cool. So it'd be like an East Coast rivalry all the way down to Florida. It'd be pretty neat.
So, Bill, in your USA Hockey role, we've been talking a lot about the NHL and their support, but from the USA Hockey side of things, what do you see as some of the biggest supporting drivers from USA Hockey, as well as the vision that you have? What do you want to accomplish in your role with USA Hockey as it pertains to Warrior?
As we get through these national events with USA Hockey, which none of it would be possible without them, I'd like to see it grow as far as the participation side of things with the amount of teams. Like this past tournament, there's 34 teams. If it could get to 40 plus, that would be amazing. But the fact that USA Hockey has taken on warrior hockey and all the other disabled disciplines is really important, because without their support, none of this would be possible. And it's grown to, I think we kind of hit on it a little bit. It's like 17 states that are now involved in warrior hockey, which is huge. And not all these programs have an NHL affiliate with around them. They might have a minor league, AHL, ECHL, something of that nature, which would be huge for their programs to get some sort of affiliation. But yeah, I like to see it grow, and like USA Hockey is a big supporter of that, and I think it's important for not just warrior but blind, special hockey, sled. Obviously, sled's a big one, and deaf, hard of hearing, and none of that's possible without USA Hockey being involved in any of these programs. So.
Bill, I think the program is growing so much from what I've seen in Colorado because veterans are talking to each other just about how impactful the program is. And I'm sure you get these calls a lot, but if a veteran was to call you and he's interested in joining the program or starting a program, what would your advice to him be?
Sure. One would be understand what you're getting into, because the hockey aspect's the easy part, to be honest with you. Dealing with disabled veterans and what their disabilities are a big part of it. And not everybody's the same. So when a person joins the program, we're not all programmed a certain way anymore like we're in the military. So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs when you start a program, but just know that when you're doing this, you're doing it to help veterans and provide that safe space and camaraderie for like-minded individuals. But if there's an NHL team in the area, I will reach out to them and try to facilitate a meeting once they get all their ducks in a row, their nonprofit status, find the ice, how much it's going to cost. I try to send them what a budget would be to start a program in their area, and that's based off of what the cost. Like the cost of ice is so different in so many areas. That's the biggest thing. Like for us, well, I was talking to Minnesota. Ours is like $450 an hour. Minnesota, they pay like $250 an hour. It's so off the charts. Up in North Jersey, it's like $700. It's crazy. So just understand what they're getting into. We have a player handbook here in Philadelphia that covers safe sports stuff, everything, all signed off by the Flyers legal team and our lawyer that we have personally in our program. But give a guy a standard. We give that handbook to anybody that wants it. If you give that new program or somebody that wants to start up, here's the standards we go by, and this is why we do it. It's very important, and it's a good bargaining chip when you're talking about to NHL teams like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the Flyers blueprint. We have this handbook. It has social media policy. You don't want guys getting on social media and saying all kinds of crazy stuff, but because they're representing the brand. So it's a good bargaining chip. Hey, we have a standard. This is what we're going to do. As long as the other teams have that, it's important. So, but we'll give them everything that they need to start a program.
So, Bill, we want to close out here with some fun rapid fire. Although I feel like every time we do these rapid fire questions, they end up being great, well thought out answers. So no pressure. But give us your favorite Warrior hockey moment.
I would have to say my favorite Warrior hockey moment was actually this past weekend. We were getting ready to play a playoff game against the Capitals Warriors, and they said, hey, before this game, win, lose, whatever it may be, let's get a picture together before the game. So we had a group picture before the game. I think we're the only team that did it too, and everybody's like, oh, why are they doing that? And it's because we made a lot of good friends this week. It was the first time we ever met them and hung out with them. And they were like, this has been great. Let's get a picture together so we have something after this is over. I thought that was really special. That just proves what the camaraderie is of Warrior hockey. And I thought it was really great that we did that. So,
Bill, most inspiring story that you've been a part of or heard since starting the program?
There's a guy who plays for, and I hate to use the Philly, but I've heard some but there's a guy in the Philly program. He was a Marine, is a Marine still. You know, they're always Marines for life. So he was in Fallujah. He was shot. They rushed him onto the base. They had to revive him like 7 times. They finally pronounced him dead. So they let his platoon or squad come in and pay their last respects. And this is the crazy part. He sat up and said, "What happened?" And they thought he was playing a joke on his guys that he was deployed with. And the doctors rushed in and kicked everybody out, but because they pronounced him dead. So he goes home to Walter Reed. He gets, his treatment that he needs. 6 months later, he's back in Iraq in Ramadi, and he gets blown up. And then he comes back. He eventually gets out of the military. He's been fighting for his 100% for 15 years from the VA. And through the help of our resources, he finally got it. And I don't know how he hadn't had it when he got out, but it's the craziest story that, they pronounce this guy dead and he sits up and asks what happened to his buddies. And it's crazy to me, some of this stuff that these guys have gone through and girls. And I'm just glad he's still here. So
that's incredible. And I think just something that you don't find anything quite like that in any other discipline. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to top that story. So last one here before we let you go. I couldn't believe how high the level of hockey was at some of these different events. If you could shout out a couple of the best players in the league today, who would those guys be?
Colorado would be Charles Beaton. Guy's unbelievable defenseman for the Colorado Warriors. Nick Golanos, who plays for the Philly team. He's a Naval Academy graduate. Kevin Emore, West Point. Mason Ralph at the Washington Capitals level, unbelievable player. St. Louis, there's a couple really, really good players. Hansen. There's some really good players out there. There's a guy, Dobbsy from Washington Capitals. He has an Instagram account. It's incredible. He has so many followers and stuff. Unbelievable goalie. Geez, there's so many good players throughout the U.S. Nico Muniz in Michigan. The list could go on. There's a high level of players in elite. I can't wait to move down. I'm getting too old for this. So I can't wait to move down to tier 2. I'm like, man, I was watching this weekend. I'm like, all right, it's time for me to move down. I'm getting too old for this stuff. They're just so fast out there. And some of these guys have played pro. So they get out of the military and they play in Germany or East Coast League or whatever it may be. But there's so many good players out there. And the most exciting part of it is watching the lower tiers. I think it's more exciting than watching the elite level. Just the tier 6 games are wild. Everybody's so excited to see them score a goal, stuff like that. The Philly team, they scored 2 goals in the past 3 tournaments. That's it. So this weekend they actually scored some goals. It was great. And the new programs throughout the U.S. like Tampa Bay and I'm trying to think of a couple others. There's Oklahoma City, Central Florida, teams of that nature. It's just fun to watch all levels. I think the lower tiers are more enjoyable because they're getting excited because they're finally learning the game and doing something special with their counterparts, their veterans.
Well, Bill, this has been so awesome. For me, this has been incredible. Having different family members who have served and knowing that they didn't have this opportunity. It's really amazing what you guys are doing and just really, really appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for coming on, Bill. But more importantly, thanks for what you're doing. I mean, this program you guys have built along with USA Hockey has had such a significant impact on so many veterans' lives, and it's been amazing to watch and happy to see where it goes in the future.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Lyndsey. I appreciate it.
Well, Lyndsey, this is only our 3rd episode, but I have a hard time believing anyone's going to top his most inspiring story there.
That was wild. And like I said, I mean, you can't find that anywhere else. Those types of stories and just talking to some of the different people here in Arizona about their experiences, whether that be through physical disability or what they went through or their PTSD. I mean, there's so many things that our veterans deal with that make life challenging, and to be able to have that escape that Bill was talking about and to have that community and that camaraderie amongst their fellow warrior players, there's just nothing like it anywhere else in the country. And so cool that USA Hockey has this program available to our veterans.
And I think something else that he touched on is just how impactful the game of hockey can have as an escape for people, because life can be challenging at times, regardless of who you are or what you're going through. But he just mentioned that it's one of the few times when guys tie up their skates and get on the ice for 60 or 90 minutes that they can truly check out. And it's truly been life-saving for some of their players and even some of the ex-NHL guys that I know.
Don't forget about all the resources he talked about. I mean, my goodness, the fact that they can go to the rink to have their fun and not have to make a second trip to go and get some different opportunities, whether it be the medical exams or learning more about service dogs or all of the amazing things that they offer, even childcare. I mean, you get it, Drew. Now, for me, having a baby, I mean, to be able to bring your kid to the rink and not have to worry about anything and just truly to be able to go out and play, what a gift. And so, I mean, this is so much more than just a hockey program. This is about something so much bigger and giving back to those who served us. And just so thankful again that USA Hockey has an opportunity like this.
Yeah, I think the event that I participated in too, something that stood out right away was just the camaraderie, not only of guys on their own team, but just guys throughout the league. And you could tell that they've developed friendships, whether it was while they were serving or since they started the program, that have really changed kind of how they fundamentally view their life.
Yeah, that's right. Well, such an amazing conversation with Bill. Cannot wait for everybody who's listening to the Next Generation podcast to be able to hear his story as well as the stories of others that he shares. And just very, very thankful to him for hopping on. And we hope everybody tunes into our next episode of the Next Generation podcast. We're going to have Annie Camins, who is the VP of Hockey Operations for the PWHL. Lots of stuff going on the PWHL side. Also has a long history with USA Hockey. She's worked in the NHL. Unbelievable individual, and we cannot wait to have Annie on. So tune in next time, and we will see everybody soon.
Thanks for tuning in to the USA Hockey Next Gen podcast. Be sure to subscribe, share, and follow us for more stories that inspire the future of the game. Until next time, keep skating forward and growing the game one stride at a time.